Welcome back to the Scions of the Southland podcast, presented by From the Rumble Seat. I'm your host, Akshay, and joining me live from the midsection of the Clough Undergraduate Learning Commons is Jake Grant, Cade Lawson, and Ethan Kreger. How are y'all doing tonight?
Fine, thanks.
Fabulous.
Don't tell them where we're recording this. That's like recording in a Walmart. It's not impressive.
I'm pretty sure Jake says the exact same thing every time we record in a very professional manner. Fine, thanks. Tell him how you really feel. Come on.
I have irrational confidence today for maybe no other reason than I got a haircut and I swam well in the pool today. So
all right, I learned too much about your life.
Oh, you want to figure out how he feels? Swimming is not a real sport. Changed my mind.
Hot takes only. Hot takes only.
Right.
Where's your national championship? All right.
Ooh. He did get you there.
I'm a champion of life.
Life and school have gotten in the way the last 2 weeks, but we are back. It's homecoming week on campus, and we have a lot to talk about since we've missed 2 weeks. So let's get started.
We only missed 1 week.
No, we missed 2. Jake, what is
we
up
only missed 1 week, you idiot.
I can't do math. That's not what my degree's in. Jake, what is up in non-rev land?
Hi. Before we get into non-rev, I wanted to pitch homecoming because that's this week. We've got the Mini 500 Friday night, freshman cake race early Saturday morning, and the rec parade then later on Saturday before Yellow Jacket Alley. All 4 of us are members of the Ramblin' Rec Club, so you can find any of the 4 of us there. We'd love to say hello. Come participate in any of Georgia Tech's great homecoming.
And schmooze you with our dulcet tones.
Oh, yeah. Akshay's a pit boss, so he'll probably throw a wrench at you if you get too close to him. But otherwise, we're very friendly and nice. Oh, well. You guys got anything to say about Hoko?
Homecoming is easily my favorite week on campus. Come out. It's fun. Alums come home. Have a great time. I'm back on campus.
For sure.
Alums come home?
Shut up.
For homecoming? Really?
He got me on the spot, all right?
Yeah. Akshay's usually much more eloquent, which you can never tell because this entire podcast is on the spot. Anyways.
It's called a script. It's a script.
Okay, robot.
Give the man credit for the 5 minutes he spent preparing. Kid.
That is fair. All right, before Akshay murders all 3 of us at once, but me first, we got non-rev sports this week in non-rev. Women's tennis, that's first on the list because they're the best. They did okay. Kenny Jones made it all the way to the round of 16. That's about it. She and the rest of the Jackets return to the court when they host the ITA Southeast Regionals at the Ken Byers Tennis Complex the week after homecoming. So if you like tennis, go out and check it out. We'll have 15, 16 teams on campus. So
we made the Final Four last year and got 3 starters back from the team last year and 3 new freshmen. So come out and see the new girls and the returning members of last year's Final Four team.
Yeah, it's a good time. There'll be lots of sports on the flats next week. Next on the list is swimming and diving, a sport I'm quite passionate about myself. But the men are ranked top 25.
That's new.
That's good. That's different and fun. The sophomores are pretty good. We had a good class last year. We lost one very recently to transfer, Franco Reyes. He's at Tennessee now. But in the meantime, they went down to Florida State this weekend and whooped. They beat Florida State, number 20, pretty handily, and also beat Pitt in the process. The women weren't so lucky, and by that I mean they got smoked by Florida State because they're not as good as the men, but they beat Pittsburgh, so they're not the worst. They had a solid week. Iris Wang, our diver, Cameron Hidalgo, and Emily Ilgen-Fritz look very well rounded, coming off great years last year. And of course, the men look to maybe climb a few spots in the rankings after knocking off top 20 Florida State. Softball, we don't know the scores. Volleyball, I wish we didn't know the scores. And then men's tennis did okay over in Tulsa. But volleyball hosted Clemson, got its first conference win in 5 sets over a mediocre at best Clemson team.
It was a rough game to watch.
And then Akshay was up at that do you have any, or you saw it? 'Cause it's
Yeah,
on
so
Fox Sports.
I watched that game on the reputable regional sports network of Fox Sports South, and I don't know, it was just a rough game to watch. It seemed like we didn't really get a lot of momentum, or it won a lot of rhythm and two a lot of momentum, and like we did pull out the win, which is great, especially for our first conference win of the season and what's been a bit of a downturn in I guess what we would consider the middle part of the season at this point.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it's been a rough couple weeks.
That's how I described the Virginia Tech game too. We never really got in a rhythm. There were times when we really looked like the better team in the first two sets. We got our doors blown off in the third, but lost two sets by a combined 5 points. That's almost the minimum. We looked great out of the gate and then couldn't keep it going in the first set. Pretty similar in the second set, and that's how you wind up 12-7. But you got to win some of these conference games against beatable opponents, and we saw, I think, as teams have learned to adapt to our 1-2 punch of Mariana Bernbia and Michaela Dowd as freshmen, because they're probably our two-star players. It's become tougher to just have the two of them power us to victory. So finding out how to adapt is part of growing on a team, and they're two freshmen, so they've got a lot of time to learn.
Yeah, and a lot of those problems, like you said, it's not just that they figured out the 1-2 punch; it's also that it's a young team.
Yeah, young team, been fighting some injuries, especially with Maddie Tippett and Sam Knapp at libero defensive specialist. Especially Tippett being out, she's the loudest person on the court when she plays, so that was pretty noticeable, and I didn't realize it until I made it back to a game. But other than that, I talked briefly about club sports this week. Hockey's looking great. They're off to a 4-2 start, but their goal differential's off the charts. Hopefully they can keep that up, even though that's floated by a 11-0 win over Lynn, which is always nice to score 11 times in one game. But they beat Clemson 7-2, and that's good, and then have lost two close games, so I'm not too worried about them. Tech's reigning national champs, the swim club, headed up to Clemson, won the meet, looked great doing it. That's about it. We got men's soccer on Friday night after the Mini 5. So if you're around, head over to Row Stamps, and we'll keep you posted on anything else I might hear in the coming couple weeks.
What Jake failed to mention is that hockey's social media game is absolutely amazing.
Oh, they almost single-handedly strong-armed me into buying a hockey jersey on Twitter this spring, which is impressive considering
They almost did that for all of us.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Their jerseys are pretty fire.
If they played games closer to campus, I would totally agree.
Yeah, their games are up in Alpharetta, right?
They're at the ice, I want to say. Or
That
the
sounds like
Edge,
it's in
or-
Alpharetta.
It's something that sounds trendy.
Because I know they used to.
Yeah.
I want to say they used to be at the Cooler. And they might have changed the name.
They
of
went
it.
from the cooler to the ice.
We don't have hockey arenas out here. It's the South. Hockey's filmed twice in Atlanta.
That's sad. Go Blackhawks.
Yikes.
Anyways,
Should've put it in
yeah,
the fridge.
Okay.
hockey's always looking good. They went deep in the playoffs last
Go
year.
Whalers.
Rip. Hockey went deep in the playoffs. Lacrosse is going to be great when they come back. I don't think they've started even practicing yet. I haven't seen them out on the CRC fields. And then, of course, club swimming is going to be a juggernaut for years. So it's a good time to be a club sports fanatic at Georgia Tech, which is a very small market, but it's nice when other things aren't.
But also a good point is that some of these, what you might think is smaller club sports like women's soccer or men's soccer and both the lacrosse teams, those are definitely prime candidates to become fully sanctioned D1 sports
Oh, for
as
sure.
we expand the program.
Todd Stansbury said as much. You were at that talk.
Yeah,
he gave, right?
and he said that women's soccer is probably first on the priority list in terms of. Are they Power 5?
I think we're the only Power 5 school not to have women's soccer.
Yeah, so that might end up being the 18th program. Obviously, that's not necessarily a scoop on our part, but if it happens, it happens, and they're probably the foremost candidate.
Yeah, that and beach volleyball, I think, are the two I've heard tossed around.
Two most probable,
Yeah,
I would say.
helps because we've already got a lot of infrastructure in place. I don't know where we play women's soccer.
Does anybody around here play beach volleyball?
Guns?
Or-
Van
Georgia
Guns?
State.
They're like
The Van Guns are at Georgia
Van
State.
Gus transferred to Georgia State to play their final beach volleyball season, if I remember correctly.
Yep, they did. Karnak went down there and took pictures of that. That's how I found that one out. But yeah, anything else on non-rev club sports?
Well, you're the expert, so.
I mean, I could talk about club swimming until your ears bleed.
All
I don't
right,
think
well,
anyone-
let's avoid that.
Yeah.
So let's move on. Bowling Green. We forgot to talk about this last week because we were all sick and life finds a way. Give me.
Life finds a way.
I wanted to
Finds a way to what? Cancel
I
the
wanted-
podcast, Akshay?
I wanted to quote Jeff Goldblum, and I just didn't find the right way to phrase it. Anyway, give me.
You did a terrible job.
Now
and
I
you
have
should
to look
feel
up
bad.
Jeff Goldblum quotes and see which one you're doing.
What do you mean?
How do you know how to walk already, Akshay?
Christ. All right. Give me a sentence about Bowling Green. I'm going to start. Tech covered 28.5. That's all I'm going to say on that one.
We did what we were supposed to do.
I don't think I'm so different than your average Jeff Goldblum. That was a quote.
Is that your
Was that the
sentence
one,
on?
Was that the one you're going for?
No.
Oh no, that was not my sentence. That was the first quote on BradyQuotes.com.
God damn it.
You go first, and I'll find a better Jeff Goldblum quote to apply to this.
Well, it was a good feeling to run out of CO2 for that giant whistle Athletics made, but we scored, and that's a nice feeling.
I feel like that wasn't a sentence.
It was not a sentence, no.
It was definitely multiple clauses.
It
All
was
right.
a rambling wreck from Georgia Tech.
I hate you. Okay.
All right, I found my sentence. I thought this is a good sign. There's something perfect and right about this. Jeff Goldblum.
What movie? What movie?
Who is
I don't
Jeff
know.
Goldblum?
I don't know.
Are
But
you
the
ki-
but the
Are you
tags-
kidding right now?
The tags are-
Jurassic Park?
Oh, I didn't know that. I just know him from Thor.
Yeah, and Thor Ragnarok.
He was
Someone
the,
is gonna roast y'all in the comment section about this.
I'm
and
not a
gonna
nerd.
laugh.
I may go to Georgia Tech, but I'm not a nerd.
Okay, here's something you may have heard from him. It's best not to stare at the sun during an eclipse. Jeff Goldblum.
Oh, I've heard of that.
Yeah.
Y'all are.
There we go.
I hate being in a room with people younger than me. Anyway,
Shut up, Akshay.
let's move on to talking about Friday's game versus Louisville in Kentucky, in Bourbon Country. Anyway,
Yes.
Tech blew Louisville the heck out, 66-31. They covered 4.5 or 5 or whatever it ended up at the end of at the end of betting. The post-game win expectancy is calculated by our dear friend and
Is he our
Stats-
friend?
stats
he kinda
robot.
blew us off when we went to go see him in person.
He also ignores our DMs on Twitter.
Yeah. I tried to get him a field pass.
Well, our preferred stats provider, Bill Conley at SB Nation.
My preferred stats providers, Kiefer Milligan, and sometimes Nishan and Andrew. Thank you. And Matt. Matt too. Shout out Matt.
84% post-game win expectancy, and that's calculated based on the box score and saying how what was the chance that based on the stats which team would have won.
I think that stat needs a new name.
Post-game win expectancy?
The way it sounds like you had an 84% chance of winning the game given that you've already won the game. I don't like that.
You want to come up with a new name for it? All right, I want to hear your suggestions.
How many times you would win the game out of 100 given stat?
Something tells me that name might not catch.
Doesn't
on.
really roll off the tongue.
You can abbreviate it as, I already forgot what it was, so I can't do the abbreviation, but anyway.
Anyway, so some key takeaways. Total offense, we were
Whoa, I was
one.
coming up with new names for this stat. Come on, man.
All right, shoot.
Lemon Electronics.
Yeah. Owl Corp. Rave
It's a stat,
Networks.
it's not a company.
Life Foods. Fire Aid. Perfect.
Oh, the Dan Quinn Memorial We Should Have Won That Game Award.
There you go.
Ouch.
So we
Ouch.
got Gano.
Nimble Sports. How about that?
That's a good one.
Actually, boo, on second thought.
All right, so
Panthers.
key takeaways. Total offense, 1 for 2 passing for 12 yards and a bunch of yards on the ground. Don't really remember the exact number, and I forgot to.
40.
42.
That 542. Let's go with that.
That's embarrassing for Louisville. That's humiliating.
Van Gorder for president.
Didn't we give up almost 500 on our own?
Yes.
No, I'm talking
Total
about
yards.
losing by 30 plus to an ACC team that's Georgia Tech, that's lost to South Florida and Pittsburgh, losing by 35 points, allowing one completion for 12 yards in the entire game. That's sad. And if their coach's buyout was at $14 million,
Which goes up next year, mind you.
it's got to cover his motorcycle insurance. His salary goes, dude. That's
10 years ago, he signed a contract, and he said he would still be at Louisville in 10 years, and he was true to his word.
Yep.
He said the same thing in Atlanta, and look what that look where that took him.
Watch him end up in Atlanta next. I think it's fun.
I would I think I would actually stop being a Falcons fan if that happened.
I'd laugh.
All right, total defense, 31 points allowed, 483 yards allowed, and that's 113 on the ground and 370 in the air to Jawan Puma Pass, who has a very interesting and very ironic name.
Jawan Puma interception.
Yes. Or Jawan Puma incompletion.
What's the Puma?
Can we just start with the fact they call him Puma? And I'm used to watching Lamar Jackson run around for a Louisville quarterback, and this dude is nowhere near as quick.
Was it Bobby Petrino that said their offense was going to actually be better without Lamar Jackson?
Somebody said it.
Somebody did say. I'm pretty sure.
There's a lot of
Well-
hype around this Puma kid.
Here's the thing. They were wrong. Lamar Jackson was literally all of Louisville's offense. And that
They
was
weren't even that good last year.
but it was painfully on show in this game that Lamar Jackson was all of their offense, and he made that entire offense. He hid so many of their flaws last year.
Yeah. They also lost a few other skill position guys, and that didn't help too. But
Yeah,
It
but
was
that
nice
ruins
to-
my narrative.
yeah, well, you can come up with a new one.
Other accolades for this week: Taquan Marshall and Parker Braun were named ACC Players of the Week. Jordan Mason and Parker Braun were on the Pro Football Focus Team of the Week. I think that's what the blog is. Fellow writer Nishant was disappointed that Clinton Lynch wasn't named Tight End of the Week this week. I am also kind of disappointed that he wasn't listed there either. I don't know.
Hey, man. All I'm saying is Ben Tankersley, Wanye Thomas, hype train.
I thought that was for lane train only.
It's still a hype train.
Also, you didn't use the Georgia Tech whistle sound.
It's a train whistle.
Disappointed.
Pretend like you just heard the steam whistle. We'll
Shrevu.
move on from there.
God, you're trash. Anyway, you might be just as trash as Louisville's play calling in this game. So the offense kind of got back on track after games versus two at best teams. I might be giving them a lot more credit than they're due.
Oh, they're terrible. They're really, really, really bad.
Cade, how many drives would Tobias have scored on out of the last 14?
15. 15.
Hmm.
1-5.
That's some.
That's
Quick math.
Also, yeah, while we're talking about tight end Clinton Lynch, we should also talk about running back Tobias Oliver. According to whatever article that was, that I guess looked at our leading rushers, saw the first one was Taquan Marshall and assumed the rest were running backs. I mean,
Somebody actually said Tobias is a running back.
so, yeah, they
I
said.
want to
they
say
said,
that was
like,
a CBS
backs.
article.
They didn't even say A or B back or running back. They just said backs because I think they had probably been called out for saying the wrong word before, so they just were like backs. Tobias Oliver. It's like he is a back, quarter kind, but he is a back.
True. All right, there are 2 points other than the offense I want to bring up. Nishant's review of Woody's performance this week brought up a really good point about the play calling on defense, and this scheme has gotten a little bit more creative. There are a lot more stunts, and I want to say creative blitzing this week. But the other side of that coin is that dink and dunk passing has just been absolutely murderous the last 2 weeks. So, thoughts?
Our inside linebackers were not a strong point in the game, even though I thought they would be probably the only strong point of the entire defense coming into the season.
They're just not quick enough.
Yeah, they try. Hopefully, I think this is Brand Mitchell's last year, but hopefully the guys behind him and beside him, who is it?
BJ,
David Curry, I think, will be back.
David Curry, I think, is a redshirt senior.
Oh, just kidding.
I think
BJS.
Swilling can
Yeah,
grow into this
BJS.
defense. I don't know. He looked good. He looked good last year, and I've been waiting for him to have his breakout.
He's a
game
good
this year.
player. He could always go back to B-back if he needs to, too. He was a
Long enough
4-star.
backs already.
He wanted to play
Back is a kiss of death
running
in
back
this
out of high
offense.
school, but no one offered
You
him
just have
for
too
it.
many.
We do have a lot.
Not really.
Not that many.
I
All
mean,
right,
you got,
well,
you
ruin
got
my
our
narrative
top two.
again, please.
We got our top 2 guys.
I
So
don't really know what else we have behind them.
some of the best feedbacks we've had started as other positions. Just saying.
Some of the best quarterback we have started at other positions.
You're not wrong. Wait, yes, you are. That just hit me. Yes, you are. You're very wrong.
Any other like overarching thoughts about the
Oh,
Louisville game?
that Benny Hill looking play where the yeah, that's the idea. Where it was the backup quarterback for Louisville had it on like the 11, and he made it like some 40 yards. I'm pretty sure at least one time every person on our defense tried to dive at him and could not make a tackle. That was the epitome of everything that has like driven me to rip out my hair about this defense over the last 3 years.
They
Is
look
that how
like
you
they
got your
haven't
haircut?
Yeah, way cheaper than American haircuts.
They look like nobody's taught them how to form tackle or how to tackle in general. They either come in high and arm tackle or just dive at legs and don't wrap up.
Oh.
Or spear somebody with their head and get thrown out for targeting.
That didn't happen this week.
That's
You
good.
stand when they stand, Ethan.
Well, you spear when they spear.
There you go. That's what I meant. Thank you, computer.
Hey, robots never wrong.
I see you did throw in the double equal signs here for the show notes we're reading, so paying tribute to your.
Computer heritage. It's not triple equal signs for JavaScript.
I wouldn't know that.
Hey, if he ever gets too bossy, we can always just go up to his command deck and take out his HAL 9000 chips.
Yeah, we've been.
That
toying-
literally made no sense. That
You
was
ever
a
seen
bad.
Space Odyssey.
That was a bad joke.
We've been toying with an idea of, in addition to the Bible segment we're going to start doing, this week in JavaScript with Akshay. So
Learn a new
Got
JS
top-
method every week.
if you've
Let's
got
just put a
topics,
religion and politics segment in here too.
we've got.
I want to talk about the
content.
weather. Let's talk about the weather.
We've got content from today. Want to talk about that?
Yeah, let's look ahead to Duke. Let's talk about the homecoming game.
That's not what I meant at all.
So we've already talked about the smattering of events that are going on campus. The line on the Duke game is Tech by 2 somehow, some way. Don't understand that.
Believe more. That's how you can understand.
Anyway, Duke is coming off of a bye, as is tradition.
Yeah.
David Cutcliffe is still going to complain about the option. So there's a couple of things that I want to touch on here. Daniel Jones is still supposed to be injured. He has like a steel plate in his arm.
He's playing Saturday. He played against Vatek.
Yeah, he played against Vatek and has a week of rest. So
Yeah.
how does that factor into the mix, especially after a bye?
Tis but a flesh wound. He I didn't think he would be back soon at all. It turned out that in his the game last week, you could probably argue that he shouldn't have played because him at like I don't know what percent you're at when you're like 3 weeks removed from breaking your collarbone, but him at that percent was not the same Duke team that they saw with their backup quarterback. So if I was David Cutcliffe, I wouldn't start him this week, honestly, just because they didn't look nearly as good. But I'll take it. And as soon as I say I'll take it, he'll probably throw for like 400 yards, but whatever.
If he does come out as a starter, just chop block him to death.
Oof.
How
Yikes.
dare you?
Please play into Cutcliffe's hands more.
I will say my weekly update research told me that the backup quarterback in the 2.5 games he played threw for 6 touchdowns and no picks.
That's
And-
some Nick Foles numbers right there.
Yeah, so I'm hoping Daniel Jones is the one walking out there on the field on Saturday because I think Daniel Jones, as Cade touched on in his current state, is not as good as their backup quarterback.
They have, I mean, Duke's offense doesn't revolve around their quarterback like a lot of offenses do, but the fact that he is so, I mean, he's like, I don't want to call him a game manager because he's definitely more talented than that.
They've
McCarron.
got two experienced guys at running back there.
Yeah, exactly. That's going to be their go-to option always because
We're going to have
Britton
to
Brown.
come ready to stop the run.
Britton Brown especially is a really, really talented player. But Duke plus recruiting quarterbacks. They've had a lot of guys that their system has made look good over the years. But I think Daniel Jones is probably the first one that I would say is a really good quarterback in his own right.
Daniel Jones has gotten a lot of hype in the past as being one of the best quarterbacks in the league, and even the fact that he can come out on 3 weeks after breaking his collarbone says a lot about his tenacity too. So I don't think counting out Dan Jones is a good idea at any point, but I would still rather play an injured Dan Jones than somebody who's on fire.
See, this is why I hate talking about Duke every year, because I hate David Cutcliffe, but also I'm a giant David Cutcliffe fan, like deep down inside, because he's a really good coach. Throughout his entire time, he's been Mr. Magoo. He does. You're right. You're right. But he changes his whole offense to fit the quarterback that he has at the time. Whereas you see so many coaches that just try to force people into different positions. So he's had different fluctuations with guys like.
You have 3 options: mine, and mine.
Finish the sentence.
they've had guys like Daniel Boone. I think his name was Daniel Boone.
Yeah, Anthony Boone.
Anthony Boone.
I wanted to wear a coonskin
Thomas
cap.
Sirk.
Who was more Thomas Sirk? Yeah, who was more of like a physical runner. Same with Brandon Cannett. They were kind of like goal line switch up guys who ended up running the offense kind of long. And then before that, Sean Renfree, who was more of a pocket passer as well. And they've all had success because he's been so willing to make changes.
It's going to be an interesting game, especially coming off of last year's where the defense decided not to show up in the second half.
Yeah, we only played 30 minutes that day. The referees forgot to tell Duke that they were stopping the game at halftime.
Womp womp.
Sad.
That second half was a bummer in the rain in Durham. I got put on the TV on my phone and got texted by both Akshay and Cade to get off my phone, but I have no regrets because we looked like trash.
You deserved it.
Yeah. So, who is your difference maker in this game? Be it Daniel Jones or, I don't know.
It can be for either team?
Yeah, it can be for either team.
Oh, okay.
Who makes the difference?
Pass.
Puma?
I'll go one of Duke's other weapons on offense. I'll go TJ Ramming at wide receiver and say that whoever their quarterback is, I would hope that Georgia Tech would come out with the game plan of making them throw the ball, because they've got Britton Brown at running back as Cade touchdown, who's very talented. And whoever the quarterback is either going to be an injured Daniel Jones or the backup. So I think this is a week where Nate Woody and his defense have to take the mindset that if we're going to lose, it's going to be through the air. So if Duke's going to win, it's going to be through the air with TJ Ramming and the other receivers.
I'm gonna go with I'm back. I unpassed. So I'm gonna go with Joe Giles Harris, who's one of their starting linebackers, because he plays this weird Jeremy Cash-ish role for them. If you remember Jeremy Cash for being the guy that the announcer wouldn't stop talking about when we played Duke a couple of years ago. But he's the kind of guy who's incredibly talented. He's a redshirt junior right now, so he's been around. And the guy that plays that position has historically been the one that shuts down the option and makes or breaks Georgia Tech's offensive performance for the most part. And he's a really talented guy that they have at that position. It bothers me they keep getting so many talented guys, but he's a good one.
Johnson was very complimentary of the way that Duke has grown their program the last couple of years.
Yeah, they've done a great job.
Yeah.
I think their recruiting's been better than ours in a lot of ways, which is
they always have a couple NFL guys on their team. That just makes me a little mad.
Yeah, they've had guys that have been successful for a long time too.
It's just interesting to see how that program has grown over about the same period of time as Tech's over the last. Nice job silencing your phone there, but over the same time that Paul Johnson has been on the flats, it's been interesting to watch Cutcliffe grow that program as well.
Especially when you consider that they play in a high school arena.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they put way more guys in the NFL. I know we talked about that, but I just looked it up to remember who some of them are. They've got Jeremy Cash, who we talked about a little bit, Ross Cockrell, Jamison Crowder.
That stadium was unimpressive and sad and empty.
At least they don't have the track
even there when they
anymore.
had the track on those sides. It literally looked like a high school stadium.
Now it looks like a Texas high school stadium.
Don't even get me started on Texas high school stadiums. Those things are expensive. And
Somebody
very
just spent
nice.
$70 million on one out in Houston. It has 2 decks.
Isn't it supposed to host the D2 National Championship game?
I don't know anything about D2.
Fun facts, then.
Except maybe D2 swimming. Yeah.
Oh, shut up.
You know stuff about
Swimming's not a real sport. Moving on.
Got him.
What are your
It's a tier
predictions?
1
Score
sport.
predictions.
For the Duke game?
Yes, for Duke.
Oh, I haven't thought about this at all.
Based on our
Pass.
trends the last couple weeks, I think we add 3 more points to our current. No, I can't. continue that.
You
That's just
can't
dumb.
say that with a straight face.
No, I can't. I'm sorry. I'm dumb. I don't know. I think if our defense can pull a couple turnovers, we're going to see a game that looks a lot like the 2016 edition of Homecoming, more than we're going to see something vintage like Tech blows out Duke or Duke blows out Tech. I think it's going to be something along the lines of like a 35-31, and whoever has the ball last is gonna put in that score.
Yeah.
You know.
It's definitely what I'm feeling. The line is 2 points, and that seems just about right.
Duke,
I would
Duke
say.
by 2 points?
No, it's Tech by
2.
2.
Well, they
I
give
would
like a
s-
3-point as the home.
Yeah, and
Three and a
it's
half.
like 2, 2. It's like 3, 2.5. I think
Yeah.
Bill says it's usually 2.5.
So basically, they're calling it a toss-up.
Yeah, I would say Tech by a field goal. Call it 31-28.
Cade's eyes are currently out of his face right now, so you might want to let him throw in his.
All right.
Well, I'm
Alright.
trying to balance between being like a good fan and also saying that that's free money, because I think Duke is the best team in the Coastal Division.
Cade is a very, very big Duke fan in the closet, at least for
This
the
triggered
purposes
me
of the
back when
Coastal.
I thought we were going to go 9-3 this year. But
Hey, I mean, I don't know. I've been on the Duke bandwagon this year for a while.
You've been on a lot of bandwagons this year.
I've been on some good bandwagons this year. I usually have a lot more misses than hits, but I've been pretty consistent so far.
All right.
But I would say Duke by 10.
Yike.
Yeah.
Are we that? Is the talent level that disparate?
No,
Disparate?
but the coaching level is,
Oof.
oh boy,
and the personnel level. It's not even talent. It's just the fit on defense for a lot
Fair.
of guys is still not there.
Call me the optimist out of the group. I'm going to balance out that Duke pick by saying I think that the changes we've made on offense the last couple weeks, I don't know why it took a year and a half for Paul Johnson to figure out the way that Taquan runs this offense best is when you simplify his reads, like he did in Taquan's first start against Tennessee, where Taquan ran for almost 250 yards on simple reads, narrowing the playbook down to 5 or 8 of their best plays. You got your quarterback counter, your veer, your follow, just simple stuff. Call me the optimist, but I say they keep it rolling. Tech 45-28.
Mm,
Dang.
17
You
points.
got a big spread on our picks today.
oh boy.
Wow.
So
It's
that
probably
kind
not
of
enough.
leads nicely into one of our hashtag Ask Scions questions. Sully GT asked, question for the next one: what's your updated season predictions? It sounds like Ethan is fully donning the rose-colored glasses. What do you think we're gonna do
Gold
the
colored
rest of the year?
glasses. Come on, get your nomenclature right. Nomenclature. Words are hard.
Actually, you're bad at saying stuff.
Okay.
I really, really, really like the way this offense looked the last couple weeks. And it seems sustainable to me. We've been good on first down, good on second down, good on third down. We're going to run into UGA here in week 12, and we're not going to be able to run the ball quite as well on them. But the offensive line is getting a push that I haven't seen in a couple years from Georgia Tech's offensive line. And I really think that we can beat Duke this weekend, beat Carolina, beat Virginia, and maybe throw in either Virginia Tech, Miami, or Georgia and get to 7-5. And then, bowl game, anything can happen on who we would play. But I think we can get 7-5.
Ready to go to Shreveport?
Hey, the
I don't think we go there at 7-5.
what is it? The Bad Boy Mowers Independence Bowl now?
Bad Boy Mowers Gas
Gasparilla Bowl. Oh wait, isn't that back at Raymond James? Oh my goodness, we can sit when they sit and stand when they stand once more.
Oh boy.
It'll be beautiful. As for me, I still think it's a tough read to make. I think I think we blow the doors off UNC. I think we beat UVA, especially at home. I've never believed that Miami's all that good, but Mark Richt is
Mark Richt
a
is
crafty
Richt.
man.
It's the goatee. I'm telling you, it's the goatee.
He looks like
He's a
Mike
bad
Grant
boy.
having a midlife crisis. I mean, like, you can't read that. And then there's no way that you can say going into Athens against a very well-regarded Georgia team makes you comfortable to come out with a win. And that's what makes this prediction so hard to make. Is there's so many questions on the schedule left. Like Virginia Tech lost to Old Dominion, beat Duke handily.
And then looked somewhat competitive versus Notre Dame in the first half.
Miami, they lost to
They
what? The
should've
only
lost to
winning
Florida
FBS team on their
Miami
schedule.
ain't played nobody, Paul.
Miami's back. Just saying.
That's an interesting segue to our next segment, but we're not going there yet. So I'd say we're looking at 6-6. I don't know if we can flip two of Virginia Tech, Duke, and Miami, but I think we'll get at least one of them.
Yeah, I'm with 6-6. I was super optimistic at the beginning of the season. I think I called 10-3 or 11-1.
Yeah.
Something
you
like-
called
I was
7
drinking-
year 6.
I was drinking the Kool-Aid hard, especially because of defensive improvements that didn't happen.
Especially not the first or the second and third game.
Yeah, arguably, in my mind, Tech should have been 4-1 going into the only loss should have been to Clemson, and that just didn't happen. 6-6 is about where I think this team is at. It's the same thing every game. It seems like where the defense just can't keep up with the other team, and I think that's going to cost us more games down the road.
That's what scares me this weekend.
Yeah, that's especially what scares me this weekend.
I think I had. I don't remember if I think I had 7-5 before the season started. But every game, like all of the games we've won, I think, like I had it flipped basically because I didn't think we would lose to Pitt or South Florida, which makes me nervous for the rest of the season. We don't need to fall into like a played an FBS or played an FCS team and now we think we're good fallacy, which is kind of what we're doing with celebrating too much over wins versus Bowling Green and Louisville because those teams are so bad, like worse than any. Those may be the two worst teams on the schedule besides Alcorn State. So I don't know. We'll have to see. I think Duke is going to be much better prepared to play us than any of the teams we've played for the past 2 weeks.
Cutcliffe knows his stuff.
Cutcliffe is crafty.
That is for
Yeah,
Scary to go up against.
All right, let's move on. The other question we got this week on Twitter from Brett Brown is, do you think that Tech can keep up this momentum rolling through the rest of ACC play?
Didn't we just answer that?
Yes.
Yeah, basically. We were kind of like,
Oh,
yeah.
Yes,
wait,
they
no,
will.
I thought we literally just didn't you read that?
No, I
question?
read Sully's.
Oh,
Which is, I mean, it's the same. It's the same concept, right? We're rolling both of those together, more or less.
Well, but he asked a second question that's
Which is, I guess, more
interesting
important.
and different. And I think that it will kind of reflect on what you take away from Louisville, your opinion on this question. And
Yeah.
I, for one, have been on the Wanye train just because I can make.
Well, do you
bad
want to
puns
read the
about
question?
Kanye with
Do you
his
want to
name.
read the question before you present it? or
Oh
do you
yeah,
just-
that's a good idea. Will Wanye take Malik's place this season? He's referring to Wanye Thomas, who ran back the pick six in the fourth quarter of the
and
Louisville
Malik
game.
Rivera, the Wofford transfer.
Yes. And Malik's put up some good numbers. So was Wanye. He almost ran was it a punt or a kickoff back against Bowling
He
Green?
did.
But
It
got
was called back because of a hold.
Yeah.
Block in the back, I think, right?
Either
One
one.
of the-
Hey, he got his pick 6 though.
Yeah, sure.
He got 8 touchdowns.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's more than a lot of defenders can
I
say.
thought Wanye Thomas was a corner. I would see him lining up at corner more than safety, especially because we don't have any big corners right now after Lamont Simmons graduates, and I'm not really sure he should be on the field anyway.
Oof.
Yeah, that probably shouldn't make the final cut, but
Nah, it's fine.
I
But-
think Wanye Thomas is the future as a big corner for us.
Yeah, I agree. I
Wanye
don't-
looks great out there.
if he's going to be taking Malik's place, didn't Malik Rivera triple major at Wofford?
Yes.
Yep.
At some schools, a triple major is like you take one class and it counts
It's
for all
like
three.
math, comp sci, and finance or something. Like
Yeah,
that.
now he's
Brandon's
doing
Now he's at qual.
qualitative finance or
Yeah.
quantitative. whatever it is.
One of them.
He's a
doing
quant.
numbers in business.
He's a quant.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
But Malik has definitely stepped up, especially as a veteran presence. As someone who knows kind of the stylings of this defense, and I think that reflects in his great numbers. But also, if we can keep finding players like Wanye, then that's really exciting for the defense because I think he's one of our shining stars out there, and I'm very excited to see him grow it.
As a point of information, where is Wanye from?
Niceville, Florida.
Okay, I thought this was going to roll into a greater point we were going to make about recruiting from
the
Metro. But I guess that's not happening.
Darn. Hey, Florida's a good second target behind Metro Atlanta.
Also, all the people I know from Niceville are nothing but nice and talented. So maybe we just keep going there.
This is true. This is very true. All right. Anything else on Tech in ACC play? Updated season predictions, defense, lineup stuff.
Nope.
I mean,
You got one nope. Got two nopes.
Not covered at all.
Cool.
we got it, man.
All right. So to round out this week, Paul's Big Balls calls of the week. I forgot to write down what we had last week, but that was also 2 weeks ago, and I don't care. So, Cade, you're up first.
All right, so I've got UCLA, I think at Cal, but
Yeah,
it's on a
it's at
different
Cal.
tab. So at Cal. So I haven't chosen my pick yet, and I also what is the line on this? Cal by 7.
Cal by 7.
Yep. Cal was ranked briefly earlier this year.
I know who I would pick
Cal is
personally,
trash.
but we're trying a new concept. We're gonna choose this based off of a popular vote based on which alumnus is cooler in a few different areas of society that I've chosen. Category number 1: path blazing athlete. UCLA's nominee is Jackie Robinson.
All right.
Berkeley's nominee is Marshawn Lynch. Path blazing athlete. Okay, path blazing athlete. UCLA's Jackie Robinson. Berkeley's Marshawn Lynch. I just need one word. UCLA or Berkeley, Jake.
I'm gonna go with UCLA on this one.
All right.
I think UCLA feels like it should be the right pick here.
Feels like okay.
UCLA.
How much do you like
Okay.
Skittles?
All right.
That's the question.
All right. Path blazing actor
Oh,
or
God.
actress. Path blazing actor. UCLA George Takei. Berkeley George Takei. All right. He went to both. So which version of George Takei is better, UCLA or Berkeley?
I think Takei in a blue and yellow striped rugby shirt would look better than Takei in whatever they wear at UCLA. So let's go Berkeley.
They were the same. No, mind.
Does he have like some kind of weird bear fetish going on?
Give me Hikaru Sulu era George Takei.
Okay, fine. What is it now? 2-1.
2-1 who? I don't know
Yeah,
which
I don't
era
think-
that is.
Oh, wait, which one did you?
Which
Takei won? Berkeley or UCLA?
He's not gonna pick
Oh,
Berkeley.
no.
It's
All right,
Akshay.
Berkeley. Takei wins.
Yeah.
All right.
Boo.
I guess that means Berkeley wins this contest 3-1, which means I'm taking Cal.
Boo.
Well, it's
Akshay's a shill for Stanford,
Chip
and we
Kelly.
still don't know why.
it was up to y'all, so y'all blew it.
I blame Jake.
So many good alumni.
Speaking of Jake,
If there's any Berkeley people out there listening to this for some reason, you're welcome.
speaking of Jake,
All right, thank you, Akshay. My pick this week is Baylor versus Texas. If you can see the sign I'm currently holding up to the glass outside of the room in the Colk, you know I don't want to pick this game. But people tell me that Texas is back. So, just kidding. We're actually going to pick Iowa versus Indiana because that's way more exciting to me. Iowa visits The Rock in
he
Bloomington.
has such a terrible idea of what's exciting.
Well, I want to watch Iowa win 6-4 and still not cover against Indiana. I don't know about you. 2 safeties, 2 field goals, 10 total points.
Oh, boy.
Iowa wins 6-4.
I hate Big Ten football so much.
All right.
All right, let me pick a normal game on the schedule this week. I have Michigan State versus Penn State. Penn State is favored by 13.5, and give me all those points. Penn State is gonna smoke the Spartans.
The worst
At home.
trophy game of all the terrible trophy games.
I don't know, the Land Grant Trophy, the picture from the 80s with all the lasers in the background of the Land Grant Trophy is my favorite.
I think that's from 2011, and they just put the lasers behind the trophy.
I don't care.
You can't trust everything you see on the internet, right, Ethan?
That's true.
There we go. Wait, Ethan, why don't you have a pick this week?
I do have a pick this week.
I forgot to write it
I
down.
included on here, but it is out of the Sun Belt Conference this week. We have the Warhawks of Louisiana Monroe and the Chanticleers from Coastal Carolina.
Myrtle Beach.
You got Myrtle Beach. You got Duck Dynasty. I don't know what more you could want. It's the Carolina Rednecks versus the Louisiana Rednecks, and even better, it's on a blue field.
Teal
If you've
field.
never seen it, Coastal Carolina has a very blue field. It looks kind of like the ocean, to be honest. I don't know what the line on this game is, but I'll take Coastal Carolina by a couple of Miller Lights and a cut-off camo top.
Then how much Bojangles must one buy in order to get in the door of that stadium?
A couple of 12 packs of, I don't even know.
I would like to.
of Bojangles.
All right. Anyone have anything else Georgia Tech related to talk about?
Why is the funnest thing we talk about every week the thing that has nothing to do with Georgia Tech?
No comment.
You know, that's one of the easiest questions I've heard today. It's because we suck.
I maintain my no comment stance.
Anyways, if we want to talk about some national champions, you can find me on Twitter at CanoBean. I'm from the Rumble Seat. I mean, they all go out there.
Please ask him to see his national championship ring.
I don't have a ring. It's very
Exactly.
sad. I have a shirt.
Real champions get rings.
Rings are expensive, and we don't got no athletic department to give that to us.
Sounds like a problem. Cade, where can they find you online?
I haven't really been online lately.
That econ degree got you down.
Yeah.
Can't find a job with your liberal arts.
Hey, this mechanical engineer
Guy.
can't find a job. I don't know about the econ majors.
Hey, it's a.
Please send us your emails so we can provide these. So we can have these guys send you their resumes.
If you're interested in writing recommendations for Cade, Jake, and I to get jobs, we would greatly appreciate it.
Anyway, Cade, where can they find you online?
Hey, Matt, I don't talk to you anymore. We're not friends.
I just asked for you to get a job online.
Where can they find me online?
FDRS Cade.
Hey, that's it. Okay, there we go. I changed it a while ago, and I kind of go back and forth about what it is now. Okay.
Is it Cade FTRS?
I think it's FTRS Cade.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is.
Oh, is
I copied someone else.
It's like Joey and FTRS blog. And
Oh no, Joey used to be. He changed his. Joey, rest in peace, Joey's Twitter name, because he used to be FTRS Little Broy, but then he became an adult and sad.
Yikes. Ethan.
They
Where-
can find me on MySpace and Pinterest at Ethan.
Ooh.
I had a Pinterest for a day. That was a fun time studying.
Yeah, no, I'm
Find
on Twitter at Ethan.
find Jake on Pinterest, please. If you send me a picture from Jake's Pinterest for a zero-sum prize.
That's a circa 2013 Jake Pinterest.
I could only
too.
find Krista Kreger on Pinterest. She likes dollhouses, baby room ideas, nails, and scooters.
Sounds like she has a couple
And
kids.
boys.
Hey, don't talk about my sister like that.
Add me on Snapcash.
Hey, they killed that product recently.
Wait, they did?
Yes.
Ah.
Or it's being sunsetted. Is that what the term is? Yeah.
Oh, here's Lauren Kreger on Pinterest. Maybe that's you.
That's my aunt.
Like, actually?
No.
She
And
likes-
as always, I'm not on the internet because the internet is overrated.
'Cause
So
he runs the internet.
yeah, more or less.
you can
so-
find him on Twitter at POTUS and on Facebook at
POTUS,
yeah, exactly. There you go.
clearly killing it in life.
If you don't get enough updates from the Rumble Seat Twitter or website, you can follow Akshay to get all of our articles shared directly to your newsfeed.
Yeah, you can do that. Meh, I'm not really gonna. I'm not even gonna.
I thought you were gonna riff off that.
I got
Let's
nothing.
kill this. We gotta go to bed.
Yeah, it's late. It's Tuesday night. So for all the rest of these idiots here in Midtown Atlanta, this is Akshay Shwarn signing off, and we will see you possibly this week on the flats at homecoming. Peace out.